How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy with It. I'm Will, and today we're opening up the first in the Marvel Villainous series, Infinite Power. So, of course, we are going to have a Marvel Villainous week coming up. Well, I guess this week, or depending when this video goes up, we have the videos in the go live, recommend button scheduled thing. Yeah, so go over to our live streams. You'll see the little things that show what videos are coming up. But we are going to be playing this, as well as over here in the corner, I've got the new Mischief and Malice. We'll be playing that and unboxing that as well. So that said, let's go ahead and get into Marvel Villains. So the core box here, you can see, is going to come with 5 different villains. You get to choose which villain you want. You're going to have the normal mechanics that you remember or have seen from our Disney Villainous, with a few changes. We'll go over that. It is recommended for 2 to 4 players because there's 4 bad guys, but of course if you get additional expansions, there really isn't a limit to how many players. The main limitation is, of course, it says 20 minutes per player, so the more players you get, the longer the game's going to get. 20 minutes, I don't know about this, but in Marvel or in Disney Villainous, that's a little bit on the light side. I can say normally with me and Audrey, it takes us between 50 minutes to a little bit over an hour. And in some cases, it could take even longer. So just be aware of that. Of course, this one is by Ravensburger, is the publisher that's bringing out. The first one was by Prospero Hall. I don't believe the expansion is. I can double check right here. No, it is not. So Prospero Hall, of course, released the license to Ravensburger. And that's the same with the last couple Disney expansions. They weren't as well. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. I think I've rambled enough there. Although, what else do you expect from my videos but rambling? Now, this is kind of neat. On the back, it actually does show Loki. So they kind of hinted that Loki was going to be possibly in an expansion. You can tell this is from 2020. So it's kind of a known thing. So normal rule book here. You got your instructions, your setup, the how to play, the different game modes. Now this is something that's nice because this is an addition that the Disney Villainous doesn't have, is there are different game modes because there is a new card called an event card. And depending how you want to play, you can either play with no event cards, with the event cards, or you can play with, I think True Test, you play with all of the event cards in the game. Oh no, normally you can only have 1 event card, and if you do the difficult, you can actually have 2 event cards per player. So everything else is about the same. The only other few differences is there is this new opponent's domain. So you can actually move allies amongst the domains. That's needed for some of the characters for their abilities and for their actual objectives. They have to be able to move into the other domains. Thanos is one because he has to collect the Infinity Stones from the opponents. And then the last thing is the event or the fate cards here. So unlike Disney, I'm going to mess this up about 15 more times, and probably as we're playing the game, we'll do the same thing. But in Disney Villainous, of course, each player has their own specific fate deck. In the Marvel version, it is a combined fate deck, but each character you play does come with their own small stack of fate cards. It gets mixed in. That's got their events, and it has some heroes and allies that are more impactful to that particular villain. Right? Otherwise, like I said, everything else is pretty much the same concept of how you have played or how you've seen us play, if you haven't played it yourself, Disney Villainous. So we'll go ahead and go through the villains first. So the first one is Hela. Soon Odin and all of his holdings shall be mine, is what she says. So you go here. Hela's objective is to have a combination of 8 allies and soul marks and no opposing character at Odin's vault. So you have Niflheim, Hel, Gajol, and Odin's vault. So this is a situation where we said that you can move allies. So of course they would be able to move their allies into Odin's vault, which then would be able to prevent you from being able to complete your objective. And specialty, okay. So I was trying to figure out why. So in the Disney one, this is cut off, right? I was trying to figure out why this is longer. And that makes sense. So there's a specialty card for some of them, which we'll get into. The second villain, and this is the, I was going to say the Taskmaster because I was reading the word the here already. But we have Taskmaster. We did just watch Black Widow. They did a really good job with Taskmaster. It really felt like the character. So if you have not seen Black Widow, go out and watch it. It was a good addition to the Marvel universe. I can counter anything you throw at me. I can mimic and adapt to any move you make. I can anticipate any blow, because he is a mimic. So Taskmaster's objective, have 4 allies, each with 5 or more strength, each at a different location. So you have to, okay, so you have to have 4, so you have to basically have an ally at each location. So you have the Solomon Institute, the training room, the armory, Camp Hammond, and then of course his specialty block as well. And then from Black Panther, we have Killmonger. I will show the world Wakanda's true face, and they will kneel before us in fear. There we go. So we have Killmonger's objective, take control of the mines and relocate 2 explosives to any domain other than your own. Okay, so again, this is one of those situations where you're sending things to your opponent's domain. So that, I guess to a degree, that is one thing that's a little bit different, is you didn't have as much interaction in the other players' domains. Because if you think about Disney, they're all separate worlds, right? But in Marvel, it's one universe. So being able to go to these other places isn't like out of the ordinary. Right? It's not that strange that you can go to Warrior Falls if you're playing as Taskmaster, for example, right? But you got Warrior Falls, Institute of Technology, the Great Mound, and the Golden City. Plus our little specialty box. Again, specialty boxes. So Thanos, of course, which is the guy on the front of the box, right? I guess, what do they call that? The person that's like the feature villain, right? The one that they put on the box. I hold the galaxy in my palm, ready to crush it like an eggshell. So Thanos' objective is to collect all 6 Infinity Stones, kind of I was going to say self-reliant or self-imposing, or it's obvious. It's the obvious thing. That's it. So Sanctuary 2, Titan, the Infinity Well, Nowhere, and then of course the specialty box. Now I don't know if they all have the specialty box or specialty card that they're going to play, but of course they've all had it so far. So Ultron is the last one. So humans are hopeless, vicious, filthy, selfish, fearful, a fungoso infection for which there is only one cure, the Rage of Ultron. All right. Then Ultron is to reveal the Age of Ultron. So I'm guessing there is something called the Age of Ultron in here that we'll find. Your research lab, manufacturing array, reconfiguration base, and then Stark Industries Industrial Complex. All right, so those are our villains. So you do get your normal little chits here. There are strength increasing. The little green ones, I can tell those are probably for Hela. Yeah, so you have, you can increase strength, decrease strength. So this is, I guess, is another new thing that I forgot about. But you can increase and decrease the strength. There are cards that allow you to do that. These are the tokens for Hela, so you can get her objective done. And then the last thing, I guess the only other thing, are the power tokens. And if you guys have seen our Disney Villainous gameplays, we use some little gems. We just feel like they fit more thematically than just little black circles. So you do get a nice thing to put your power in. This one's translucent. The Disney one was black. I don't know what it's supposed to resemble. Because I was thinking if it's Marvel China. I was thinking if it was like supposed to be something with like the Infinity Gauntlet or something like that, this would be gold, not blue. But it's blue. It's blue. Our player character cards. So this will give us some idea of how the characters play. I don't think I'm going to go through them all, or through how they play. We'll just kind of skim through them. So you got Hela. So Hela's objective again, she needs these soul marks, which we talked about. Is it going to talk about this thing, this specialty thing? Goddess, Hand of Glory, Goddess of Death continues. And then okay, so it shows her unique fate card. So they do have like Angela, which is really cool because she's kind of a newer character, right? Because she came over from Spawn Comics. The original creators of Spawn, which is Todd McFarlane. I apologize, I can't remember the guy who did Angela, right? They kind of had it together, and then he sold the rights to Angela to Marvel years ago. So now Angela is in Marvel Comics. So Taskmaster, let's see if he's got that little special area described. Intense training, relocation, shielding your strongest allies, so he gets trainees here. Photographic reflexes, and then his unique fate cards. Butterball. And there are some, in some of these I started looking through, there are some very unique different characters they put in here. Some characters you wouldn't see that much, which I think is kind of cool too, is to bring back some of those. I wouldn't even call them C-listers, because like Ant-Man to me, at least Ant-Man that was in the movies was a C-list comic book guy. Butterball to me is probably more like a D-list character, but it's kind of cool that they put him in there. So Killmonger. Okay, so here's his objective. Special mission setup. Okay, so he's got to stack the claw tile on top of the control mines. Place this stack over top of 2 actions, the Golden City location. Okay. So basically you actually, your rival, you have a rival that you have to go against. So defeat Claw. Claw is a rival, so you have to defeat him. Okay, and then once you defeat him, then he turns into a specialty. Okay. So there we go. There's what the specialty. So you defeat him and he turns into a specialty. Challenge for the throne. So he's trying to take out the Black Panther. And then some of his cards and his unique cards. Wakanda Forever. Kind of everything's playing off of that, you know, because I guess it was such a monumental thing in the movie. But it's like, I don't know if I ever saw or read anything about like that phrase in the comics until the movies, right? Thanos objective. So he's got to collect all 6 Infinity Stones. So the stones themselves go into your opponent's realms when you actually play them, or they get drawn from the deck. There'll be a fate card that says, you know, grab an Infinity Stone, and there'll be a stack of the Infinity Stones, and then Thanos has to send his allies out to collect the Infinity Stones. So here, gotta collect them, and then once he collects them, then it turns into a ongoing power that Thanos gets, of course, until he gets all 6 of them. And then Ultron is the last one. Special setup Ultron upgrades. So Ultron has 3 upgrades, which he can claim to get the Age of Ultron. Okay. So then you have to upgrade Ultron. Transformation. When you play a Sentry, you may find a card from a discard. Okay. So I think he's one of the harder ones because of the upgrades. Thanos, I've heard, is like unbalanced. Like putting Thanos in any of them is just very unbalanced. That's cool too. So here's Wonder Man. Wonder Man's kind of another one of those. He had his moment, but he's not really like in the highlight. So I'd say he's more like a C-list character. And then you have your normal reference cards that say what the things do, and then give you the objectives. That way you know what your opponents are trying to do. We always do the minis last, or I guess in this case, those really aren't miniatures. The tokens, player tokens. All right, so here you go. So these are, so they're thicker, so they're nice thick ones. These are the different stones. So while it is in your realm, you basically get these abilities on action. And then once Thanos collects them, he flips them over, and then he gets this particular ability. Now, is it the same on both sides? Let's hear. So for somebody else, they get to place 1 strength token on an ally. Okay. And okay, so let's say place 2. Okay, so when Thanos gets it, it seems like it's more powerful. Relocate any number of allies. You may relocate any. Okay, that one you really can't change, right? Because it's the same. Relocate any number. Yeah, relocate any number. Yeah, so that one I guess you really can't have a difference if it's not. Find any card in your deck, add it to your hand. Find a card in your deck, add it to your hand. So actually, so far only that one was different. Perform Vanquish. Your allies are not discarded. Perform Vanquish. Not discarded. Okay. So maybe okay, here this one probably be different. Gain 1 power, draw a villain. Gain 1. No, that's the same too. So is it only that one? Play an ally for free. Play an ally for free. So yeah, actually it's only this one. Instead of 1 strength. Oh, I read that wrong. I'll place 2 1-strength tokens. Okay, this did say place 2. I misread it. So you guys probably already saw that and probably already let me know in the comments. Yeah, so it's place 2 1-strength. And then it's place 2 1. So it is the same. The same if Thanos has it in his glove, or whether it is the regular thing. I guess we'll put these back in there. And then there's Claw, so this is the rival. And then you have the Control the Mind, so that's another one for Killmonger. And then here's Ultron's transformation. So these are the Ultron upgrades that you have to get, which are all specialty cards. Okay, so they're flipped over. The ultimate specialty must be in play. You must pay 12 power to reveal this. The optimization special. Okay, so you basically have to do each one of the specialties in order. So this would be the first one. Remove 2 sentries from your domain to reveal this. So you remove 2 of your sentries, boom, now you got transformation. And then once you have transformation, then you can do this one. All right, that's a neat mechanic. I like that. It's kind of different than, again, very different than Disney Villainous. We'll go through the cards. I guess that's what we'll go next. So here is the main Fate deck, I think, because I've got them in here. I unwrapped them to make it easier for the unboxing. You guys have seen me struggle enough times with trying to unwrap these. So this is the standard or common Fate deck. One thing I did notice, and I'll probably mention again in the Loki box, right, is down here on the core set, the actual copyright plus the version is down here on the bottom. In the Loki set, which makes sense, in the Mayhem and Mischief and Malice expansion, they were smart and they put them on this side instead, because if you think about it, if you get different versions or different revisions, you're going to be able to tell what these cards are. So almost if you end up playing one of these and one from each set, you're kind of forced to have to mix the 2 decks together, where it's optional in the instructions that you don't have to. You could use either this standard set or the standard set that comes in the expansion. So just a little FYI for any of you guys picking it up. Possibly when they come out with a version 2, they'll go ahead and flip it to this other side. So I would say, yeah, okay, you might have to get sleeves that aren't transparent, but that kind of ruins the effect of this pretty art, right? That they did. Now, it is Avengers, and somebody mentioned on Board Game Geek about that what if they do X-Men, or what if they do like Spider-Man, right? Are they just going to keep this particular design, or are they going to have another design making it, well, almost impossible to mix the 2 without sleeves? With that said, let's go ahead and go through here. So these are the new event cards. So example here on Avengers symbol, the event is revealed. The current villain must draw a card from the Fate deck and play it to themselves. At the start of each villain's turn, they draw a Fate card and play it to themselves. So yeah, you basically want to get rid of this event. Once you do, you get to defeat all heroes in your domain. And it does cost, however, 10 strength to do it. So you've got to move your allies to this card to get rid of it. So you have a couple. You have that. You get locked down at the raft. Helicarrier alert. Protected vibranium. All right. So those are the common ones. And then I do like the heroes. This art also looks unique. It does not look like... So a lot of your games that you get on, if you've seen like Marvel games, like a lot of them always have the same art. And that's because Marvel gives game companies like a stock, right? A list of stock art that they can use. The Villainous games have always had unique art. And looking at these cards, these don't look like anything I've seen in the comics. So I'm thinking the same thing. These are all going to be unique art for this game. So you do have Black Widow. Now these cards also, something mentioned from this and the expansion I'll mention again, is these cards feel a little bit not as smooth, and they're rough. Like I can feel on this edge back here. I don't know if we can see that in the camera. Not really. This edge, I can feel like a little, when it was cut, when you cut something, it kind of gives a little edge. It's got that on it. So again, I think these were rushed because they were trying to get it out when the pandemic first started. So just be aware of that. Again, the second printing should fix that. But I mean, they're still good quality. They're nice thick cards. They're just not the normal smooth finish you're used to, and they are a little bit rough cut. But we have Captain America, Captain Marvel, Falcon, Hawkeye. So this one, of course, has the main core Avengers, Hulk, Iron Man, Nicholas Fury, She-Hulk, which was not in any movie, but she is coming, I think, to Disney+, Thor, and Vision. So that is kind of weird. They have... So, okay, so I figured Black Panther's going to be in the Black Panther one. But they didn't have Scarlet Witch. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They didn't have Scarlet Witch. And it's weird that they have... Yeah, like they have the Vision. So, like, they got She-Hulk. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird. All right, we'll see what's in the other decks. I'd imagine maybe the other guys are going to have the other ones. All right, so we will go to Killmonger next. So with Killmonger, all right, so of course, that's what I said. Black Panther, of course, was going to be in there. Dora Milaje. Another Dora Milaje. Everett Ross. Zatut Zareze. Atut Zareze again. Okoye. There's Shuri's sister. Wakanda Forever, which we saw. And then he's got one event card, so I think they only have one event, but maybe not. They could be different. So Stolen Antiquities. Killmonger cannot play items. That's kind of rough. And then for Black Panther himself, he's got Allied Dog of War. You may play Dog of War to another player's domain. So again, one of those ones where you can send him out to defeat other thing. You have King. King is played. You may relocate an unattached item you control in your domain to his location. Knight has no ability. She's just a power, or she costs 3 with a, well, that's not bad, strength of 5. Rook. When an ally would defeat Rook's location, you may remove Rook instead. Wakabi, the power cast used to activate ability is reduced by 1. Execute plan, so you can perform another action. Killmonger Fury, defeat a character with a strength of 4 or less in your domain. So just a straight defeat, those are always good. Especially if you get overwhelmed and you haven't been able to get your allies out yet. Taunt, relocate any character in your domain to a location in your domain, so you can relocate. Explosives, remove this item and defeat up to 2 characters at this location. Explosives cannot defeat characters with a strength of 5 or more, which is fine because you got that other card in here that's going to wherever it went. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Is it this one? That one. That's 4 or less. I thought there was something in here that said something about a 5, strength of 5. No. Maybe I misread it because I think that was the only card. You can kind of see right now when I'm trying to slide through them, they're not slick. Now I've heard that improves mainly because foils and stuff get on the cards a little bit and they get a little bit easier to shuffle. So there's no way to get rid of a level 5 without putting a level 5 player out, or a strength 5. Hacking Rig, you cannot activate Hacking Rig if you have the most power. Gain power equal to half the amount held by the player with the most power. So in a 2-player game, I guess it'd be odd to be. Weapons cache, on your turn you may pay up to 3 power for each power you pay. Reduce the strength of the character at the same location as weapons cache by 1 until the end of the turn. Okay, so it makes your opponent weaker. Wound, play it attached to your character you do not control in your domain. They have less strength. Then your specialty, heroes and Killmongers lose 1. So I actually kind of could combo that, this one or the weapons cache, right? Because they'll reduce a 5 down to 4, and then you can do your explosives, which would get rid of them. So that kind of works out then that way. Overpower, 1 strength to your allies. Before moving villain, you may discard a card from your hand to find Killmonger's Fury. So that's how you can get that out. And then Stole Wisdom, if you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand at the end of your turn, instead of drawing cards, you may reveal cards from your deck to reveal 2 items and add those items. All right, so he's trying to get those items out. That makes sense. And then he's going to increase his power, increase his strength to then be able to get rid of the villains, or not villains, but the words. Get rid of the heroes. That's what we're trying to say. Get rid of the heroes. All right, so this is Thanos. So he's got what did it cost? So they discard in your hand. For the infants they control, total number of cards in their hand. So he gets a bunch of those. All right, so here's the stone is found. So basically when a stone is found, then the person that got fated would, of course, collect one of the Infinity Stones. Adam Warlock, still waiting to see what they do with him, since they did reveal him at the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But we have not seen him, whether they're going to make I can't remember if they're going to make a movie of him, or maybe he'll be in the next Guardians movie. I can't remember. Thanos cannot win the game if Adam Warlock is there. So we have Drax. We have Gamora. Hey, it's good. I was wearing my Guardian shirt today. We have Nebula, which... This is still weird to me. Like, I get it. She was a popular character. It's like Loki, right? It's a popular character and everybody wants to make them a hero. Nebula's not a hero. Nebula turned in the movies, but Nebula in the comics has never really been a hero. She's not even an anti-hero, really. Same as Loki. Loki keeps flipping sides, but it's always for his benefit. So it's always weird when they make Nebula a hero. And then his event, sacrifices must be made before moving. For each of Thanos' allies in play, he must either pay 1 power, discard 1 card from the hand, or remove the ally. Wow, okay. So that's really hurtful because he wants to be able to move his allies to another location, to another realm, to pick up those stones. And his, of course, he's going to have the Black Order, so he has Black Dwarf. Cannot be played or relocated to events. So you can't use him to get rid of an event. Well, that's not very helpful. Corvus Glaive is relocated to another domain. You may also relocate one of the legions of Thanos. Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw is part of the vanquish action by Thanos. Defeat an opponent ally with the attached Infinity Stone. He is not discarded, so that's good. Legions of Thanos. So these are your extra low-level minions. Well, there's a bunch of those guys. Of course, Black Swan. Black Swan is at the same location as the Infinity Stone. She gains strength equal to the strongest ally not under your control at the location. Small price to pay. Gain 1 power plus 1 additional power for each villain. Okay, so if somebody else controls... Alright, so this is how you get your power up and running. Each one. Now, the only thing is, in a 2-player game, this isn't going to be very fun because you get 1 additional power for each villain who controls an Infinity Stone. So if there's 1 villain and they control 2 Infinity Stones, it's still only 1, right? Consult the Well. Choose another player. Player receives a random unclaimed Infinity Stone. Once played, you may relocate an ally. Okay, so basically you are forcing them to take an Infinity Stone so you don't have to wait for the Fate card. I was about to say, if you had to wait for the Fate cards to come out, that could take most of the game. So this allows you to force it out into your opponent's realm, and then you immediately can put an ally out. So you want to make sure you have an ally in your realm to move. Warp Reality, search a card for an effect. Alright, so this is, you can get you some effect cards. Deliver Judgment, choose location with Infinity Stone, relocate it with 2 allies you control, place 1 strength. Alright, so you can improve your strength of your guys. The Mad Titan, choose a character you do not control at the same location as one of your allies. Defeat that character. The cost to play the Mad Titan is equal to the strength. Okay, so question. So yeah, so basically this is an immediate defeat, and your power usage is going to be based on their strength. So that's nice. Death's Favor, because of course, it's really weird. So he's always had a love relationship with Death because he wants to cause death and destruction. So he likes Death, or Death loves him, I think, because of that. But also Deadpool actually at one point had a thing with Death until he married, I forget her name, but she's basically the vampire queen or something like that. She's purple, that's all I remember right now. So yeah, you may perform and activate a vanquish action. You may move to this location. Alright. Taste of Cosmic Power. Place 1 strength token on any ally. The ally may immediately vanquish a character at this location with equal or lesser and is not discarded. Okay, so you basically give them power and then they don't have to get discarded when you do your vanquish. And then Space Throne, this location gains movement, which is really needed because, again, you need to move all of your characters out of Thanos' realm around the board. So without that, you kind of have to rely on getting to that spot in the actual board. All right, and then we got 3 more guys here. Maybe we'll go through these a little bit quicker. Maybe I won't read all of the abilities. We'll just kind of, I'll show them. You guys can see them. Yay! Found by the Avengers. All right, so choose an ally control, then choose a hero in the domain. You get a couple of those. You get a bunch of those. Holy cow. Solo. So Solo is not a solo character. He is Solo. He actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of Deadpool's mercs, I believe, in Mercs for Hire. Scott Lang. So they like using Scott Lang for Ant-Man. And I think in actuality, I went back and looked. I think Hank Pym, while he was Ant-Man, I think he had one of the shortest tenures as Ant-Man, because I think he immediately went into Giant Man, and then he went into, was it Yellow Jacket? Before Yellow Jacket, the suit got taken and was used for evil. I don't remember. Been a while. There's Butterball that we talked about. It does have spider characters, which is kind of different, right? So we were talking about having Spider-Man in it. They did put the Scarlet Spider clone, so again, maybe a hint at a future expansion that we will get a Spider-Man expansion. Then government work. Taskmaster relocates allies or items except to this event. He cannot relocate allies or items. So he can't actually relocate here. So you're going to have to directly place new allies to this event to get rid of it. All right, so he has Anaconda. Looks like you get to gain some strength. Blood Spider, you relocate a hero. Crossbones, that's nice. So you can play him from the discard pile. So you basically don't even have to have him in your hand. Death Shield, so if you ever get a discard action, discard Crossbones. Death Shield, so you get more strength. Diamondback, you lose strength, or the heroes lose strength. Instead of discarding, so an ally used to vanquish, You may use trainee's ability if trainees are involved. Okay. Jagged bow. So what do you get? You get to an event. You may relocate or play a second ally to send. Okay, so that's nice. You can play 2 allies to the event. So a good way to get rid of the event. Black Ant. You get to play somebody for free. Redeploy. You get to relocate 3 allies. Shadow Initiative. Relocate allies in your domain, and you get additional strength. Perform and activate. You get a bunch of those. Wow, a bunch of those. So, okay, that's going to be probably really good for him, because same thing as usually, you don't have a lot of activate actions, but you need those activate actions to be able to perform what you're trying to do. Reveal cards from player's villain deck until you have an ally. Play that ally to the player's domain for free, then gain 1 power to their cost. That's not bad. Helps them, but you know, if you play a 5 cost ally, you're getting 5 power. So that's another one. Trainers for hire. His bow. So this gains. I forget what that does. Good thing we have these handy dandy sheets here. Vanquish. Was that the Vanquish action? Was that what the Vanquish looked like in Villainous? I can't remember now. I thought it was more like an explosion-y type thing. Explosion-y. That's a word. Taskmaster, ally uses location to be defeated, remove the shield instead, so that's nice. All of them gain 1 strength while at the same location as his sword. Characters vanquish, place 1 strength at the ally location, discard that instead. So you get a couple of those. So his is all about getting his allies and then getting them stronger and stronger. And then there's one of the activations, so you get additional strength. And then photographic reflex is another activation. It's got a lot of words. After a player plays an effect card from their hand, you may play 1 power to attach that effect to photographic reflexes. On your turn, you may use and activate to play the effect to be attached, then discard the effect to its original. Okay, so that's nice. So you get this as your specialty. So you add it as your specialty card, and it allows you to take your opponent's effect card that they played, and then you get to use it on your turn, basically for 1 power. You're basically getting to do it. So it's a very good ability, you know, that's going to be kind of advantageous for you. All right. Now we are on to Ultron. All right. So again, another lesser known character, but Wonder Man. Then we have Wasp. There's Scarlet Witch. So, well, okay. So they're going with cinematic. You can tell they're going with cinematic universe. So of course, Scarlet Witch and then Ultron, you know, from Age of Ultron. So that's why they put her in here. So they do have Scarlet Witch. I figured she was going to be in one of the sets. Mockingbird. They have Hank Pym in here. He is wearing his, I think, his Ant-Man, Giant Man outfit. So that's kind of, I guess, an homage, right? Deactivation switch. A couple of those. Molecular rearranger. A couple of those. And then, okay, and then the his event is Invasion of Stark Enterprises. When gaining power, Ultron gains 1 fewer power. But when you defeat this, you gain 6 power. Okay, that's really good. That is really nice. And there's a Caspito on the table for us. Okay, and then he's got... see, I don't know a lot of these characters. I've read the Ultron stories, but I don't know if these are robots or cybernetics or synthetic, like, you know, Vision, or whether these are humans helping him out, which I wouldn't think. They've got to be cybernetic because he doesn't like humans. Duplicate Sentry. Okay, so these are the sentries you need to discard to get his first upgrade. Flying Sentry. So it says get rid of, what did it say? Did it say get rid of duplicate sentry, or did it just say any sentry? Remove 2 sentries. Okay, so it's any sentries. So it doesn't have to be that duplicate. It can be any of these with sentry in the name. So Flying Sentry. Flying Sentry is an event. When it resolves, you may relocate. Okay, so he actually gets to escape the event rather than getting discarded. Giant Sentry. You get to discard 2 cards. Heavy Attack Sentry gives you an attack. Or gives the location an attack action, so that's nice. You get one of those on each one of them. Jocasta, I don't know why he's got Jocasta as an ally. See, that's another one that's weird. I always remember her being, of course, Hank Pym's assistant. I know she got corrupted at one point in time, but I didn't think she stayed evil. And Fallow Ray, -1 strength. For the heroes, every contingency, rather than choose either an item or effect, reveal the card from the deck until you reveal that type. Okay, so it allows you to dig out your items and effects. Gain 1 power for each location with its sentry. A bunch of those. Assimilate knowledge, so he's stealing Tony Stark's knowledge. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and put them back any way you want. Okay, so you can load your deck for what you need to come up. Assembly line, reveal cards until you reveal an ally. Add that to your hand and you gain a power, so that's a nice activation effect. Impervious alloy, so of course at one point he was built out of adamantium, or he upgraded to have adamantium in it, or it's vibranium. Maybe both, actually, to be honest. It's Ultron. When you attach to him, although I guess adamantium's made out of vibranium. Or is it the other way around? No, vibranium's not made out of adamantium. I gotta look it up. You guys let me know if you remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. But he's impervious while he's got that. You get a couple of those. And then technoforming places strength on an ally. And you get 2 of those. So his is more about getting all of his drones and sentries out. And then, like I said, trying to accomplish his upgrades by using those different abilities. All right, so the last deck in here is, I forget, Hela. Hela, we haven't done Hela. Fates intervenes, so shuffle the player's discard into the villain's deck. Okay, so basically they get all their cards back, which means if you've been digging for something, you might not get it. Revive souls, so you get to revive a hero. Odin Force, attach it to a hero. They cannot have soul marks. Ooh. There is Angela. Soul marks may not be attached to Angela when playing. Balder. Soul marks may not be attached when playing. Valkyrior. So it's not Valkyrie, it's Valkyrior. So I wonder why they did that instead of using Valkyrie herself. I wonder if there's a trademark thing, like a usage thing. I know Marvel Champions is getting Valkyrie. It's the original Valkyrie. It's not the new Valkyrie from the movies, which they did add to the comics, so she is part of the canon, and she is a Valkyrior as well. I don't know if you can see. No, this looks like just a completely new Valkyrie. Like they didn't use either one of them in the art at all. Okay. So there's two. Okay, that's why, because it's a common hero. It's not a okay, so it's not specifically that hero. So it's possible, actually, just thought about it. Valkyrie could be in the Loki deck now that I think about it, which would make a little bit more sense. If they already had that planned out, they probably already separated them. Conquer Valhalla. Hela may play, find, or access cards in her discard pile. Okay, that could probably be a big hindrance if she's looking for something. Or if she's got cards in here to talk about the discard pile, which I guess we'll find out. He has a swordsman, which gets some strength for each one in the location. That's kind of like Gaston, right? His wolves get additional strength for each one. There's another one. She has her Fenris Wolf. Hero play location. You may play or relocate to that location for free. Okay, so he jumps wherever they put it. Leah, which is Loki's friend, she's kind of flip sides too. She's been good and bad sometimes. They do that with most villains. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about people complaining about, oh, this is a hero, this is a villain. It's like all the villains become good for like a comic or two, and then they go back to their old ways. Just like a good guy sometimes goes bad for a comic or two and then comes back. MIDGARD Serpent, used to defeat with a strength 5 or less. Discern may be played from the discard. Okay, so here you go. So if you can't play from your discard pile, you can't get all these little allies played from it. Death's Embrace, relocate a hero with a soul mark to Niflheim. Held to play, choose a hero from a soul mark and perform a vanquish. So again, getting those soul marks out, and then it allows you to clear out your realm. Choose a hero to the domain with a soul mark, attach it to them. A bunch of those. Holy cow. Well, I mean, the whole point is getting soul marks. It makes sense that there's a bunch of those. Price of life, heroes attached with a mark, remove the soul mark, and gain power equal to their strength. Hero attached soul mark. If you do not defeat a hero in Hela to any domain, or remove that hero. Okay. If you do, you may defeat the hero in Hela's domain. Okay. So you get to defeat the hero. Knight Sword. So attach a soul mark to any hero without one in the location. So there's 2 locations you can put that on. Hand of Glory, choose a hero from the Fate discard pile, pay power equal to the strength, and play them to any domain, and attach a soul mark. Okay, so you get to pull it out of the discard pile and then immediately add a soul mark. Hela's Binding, each time another player defeats a hero, gain 3 power. Dragora Swordsman may be played from your discard pile to your domain. Okay, so once you get this specialty out, then you can actually play the undead. You're basically rising the dead from your discard pile. All right, so that is that. So last thing we got to go over are the player markers. Now, I heard some people that were upset. They didn't think these were as high quality, but they feel just as good of a quality. The only real difference between these is they're not translucent, right? They didn't do the translucent effect on these, but I don't mind that. The 2 games are different. They should feel a little different, right? So this one, of course, is Killmonger. So you have Killmonger there. He's got his little staff and then his mask, his signature mask. These actually look more like the actual characters to some degree. Like this one looks like Hela. Like, I mean, they didn't make it just a short little thing with just her helmet. They really made it look like her completely, which is different than Villainous. None of them actually really looked like their character. And for the most part, same thing here. That's really the only one that kind of does that. And then we have Taskmaster. So it's his, signature skull. It's got like a shield effect, but his shield is normally the round one, like the Captain America shield. But then his signature sword back there. And then we have the Ultron. So of course you have Ultron, and then you got 2 drones on 3 drones on the side. Okay, that's kind of cool. So you got drone, like little drone heads around him as well. And little robotic looking effect. Now his base kind of looks like this a little bit, but not quite. So this has this little thing in it that again makes me think of the Infinity Gauntlet. Right? And then last but not least is Thanos. Now this is the biggest one. Like these all kind of fit to some degree, right? They're kind of stand-uppy, right? Kind of tall. And this is short and squat. But it's supposed to be the Infinity Gauntlet and then the horns from his helmet. So that is what this is supposed to look like. They merged his helmet and his fist together. All right. So that is the last one from the core box, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little unboxing, going through all the cards, give you an idea of how the game plays. If you want to see how the new expansion works, same thing, we'll have an unboxing video of that coming up as well. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell notification to know when that video goes live. We'll also have those gameplay videos, or at least the scheduled videos, up as well. So you can go click the reminder over there so you can watch us play this gameplay live. Maybe give us some pointers and tips if you had played it, because of course, as always, we usually play these games unrehearsed. We just basically open them up, play them, show you guys how they play without practice. To our own detriment sometimes. But until next time, guys, peace.